Welcome back to the Gluten Free Gab. In today's episode, I'll be talking with George Fabling, who has had celiac disease for 17 years. We will discuss his experience on navigating gluten-free life. Welcome, George.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you was 44 when you first received an official diagnosis, is that right?
That's about right. That sounds, 17 years ago.
17 years.
Yeah.
Now, how did you feel when you was first diagnosed? Was it a relief? Did you find it overwhelming? Like, what were your emotions during that period of time?
I don't remember it being a relief at all. At the age I was, I really didn't have time and wasn't willing to be celiac. And when I received the final diagnosis, I had suspected that I had it for some time. But getting that final diagnosis did come as a little bit of a blow because I was kind of aware of the changes I would have to make in my lifestyle and wasn't particularly happy about doing so, quite frankly.
Yeah, had you heard of celiac disease before, or was it just completely new to you?
No, I was aware of celiac disease. My mother was profoundly celiac for most of her adult life actually, and didn't impact family life so much because we carried merrily on eating wheat and just having a great time. But it was quite a bind for her. Things weren't as easy as they are nowadays. That's for sure.
See, that's really interesting because when growing up, so I've always been celiac, but I only found out when I was 7. I had my first official diagnosis.
Oh wow, 7.
Yeah, so I've known no different. So what was that like transitioning from obviously always being allowed to have wheat to not having wheat? Like, what was that kind of like for you?
I definitely miss it. I've found a number of alternatives, and I think, I've adapted to the lifestyle and particularly the diet side of it really quite well. I've had to. But yeah, a lot of things that I do miss. The alternatives that are out there are pretty good, certainly a lot better than they used to be.
I think because it's still a growing market.
Yeah,
I feel like pretty much everywhere has celiac food, like gluten-free food.
absolutely. I think something that helps to drive that as well is the fact that a lot of people, whether if they're not celiac and they've not had an official diagnosis, they still realise that they've got an intolerance to wheat, and their digestive system finds it difficult to handle things, especially like white bread and the heavier pastries, etc. So they adopt a gluten-free diet, and I have to say that it has become quite fashionable
Yeah, no,
in
it
some
has.
circles. Yeah, and that's had a real drive
Yeah,
towards companies. They see a market that they can produce gluten-free products, and
definitely.
let's be honest, you know as well as I do, they
Yeah.
charge a lot of money for them.
Oh, yes, I can definitely agree on that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I feel like it has become a bit of a trend to be gluten free as well. I don't know if it's to do with like healthy living or what, but I have noticed a lot of people turning to the gluten free lifestyle.
I think it's definitely something to do with healthy living. But in my book, long may it continue, because it really has driven a proper sea change in what's available out there for celiacs. The gluten-free market now is huge. It's great.
Definitely. And it's still growing, which is amazing. Now tell us about the process of getting diagnosed. What was that like?
Okay, well, I kind of sort of knew that I had it by my own diagnosis and the symptoms I had had for quite a number of years. And I was, like I said, kind of unwilling to get an official diagnosis. I was referred by my GP, who was investigating another gastro situation with
Yeah,
me. And he referred me, he took the choice out of my hands, referred me to an immunity and celiac clinic where I had blood tests, endoscopies, all the boxes ticked, the internal examinations as well.
now, how long before the diagnosis did you start to notice any symptoms?
Probably 4 or 5 years
So quite a
prior
long
to,
time.
yeah, and I was fairly aware of that's what the issue was going to be. But as I said,
It's just accepting it.
yeah, accepting it for me was quite difficult. I could see that it would have an impact on my, not just the day-to-day life, but my social life and also my working life as well. And yeah, I could see the complications upcoming, and I was stupid, really. I should have got diagnosed a lot earlier and adopted a gluten-free lifestyle.
Yeah, there is, because also eating out as well. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm with my friends. If I go to a place and I'm like, they don't do gluten free, they'll very happily leave with me, and we'll find somewhere else that does do gluten free. How have you found? How have you found that? How have family and friends reacted to your diagnosis?
I very rarely have had occasions where there's nothing I can have. I have had them, especially abroad. I found that, but regarding family and friends, they've been wonderful, to the point where I feel quite awkward about it and uncomfortable because they really push the boat out and make sure that I'm catered for, pre-checking menus before we go out. If we go to someone's house, if they're cooking, they always make sure that there's, the menu that they're doing is gluten-free. So hopefully it's not to the detriment of everyone else's evening out, but they certainly make a case of looking after you, and I really do appreciate that. But I do, as a bloke, I feel a little bit awkward at times.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that, because it's like you don't want your friends to change their plans just because of you. But then it's also like you have to, because even like the smallest crumb can cause an issue and symptoms can start to arise. Finally, what is your favourite gluten-free snack or meal at the moment?
I've just made a discovery, and I can give you, excuse me, a definitive answer to this. Fairly local to me, there is a pasty shop, a takeaway pasty shop, and that's probably the food that I miss the most. I'm very keen on pasties. I can bore you for hours with the history of pasties and how they evolved in the West Country. But local to me, they've just started doing gluten-free pasties on a takeaway basis. Very, very expensive in comparison to human normal pasties.
See, that's another thing as well. Gluten-free food is a lot more expensive than normal food, wheat food.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'd like to say it's getting better. It's hard to understand how some of it is so expensive. It's just pure profiteering in some cases. On the question of availability of gluten-free food, not just the cost, it's absolutely fantastic now.
Yeah, no,
I've seen a real change.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah, over 17 years, supermarkets, dedicated shelves, half an aisle now in some supermarkets. Some are better than others, I might add.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But it's getting better and better.
Yeah, no, because I remember it used to be just like a tiny section.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, it's definitely expanded. Thank you so much, George, for being on today's episode and sharing your valuable insights and experience that I'm sure a lot of viewers will find comforting. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and I wish you the best of luck with your gluten-free journey.
Thank you very much, Amelia, and you with yours as well.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time on the Gluten-Free Gab.